I have turned my PowerPoint presentation into a video, so if you don't manage to click this button, I will put the link to the rounding off wrap video on the portal. Okay, we move on to our rounding off roller coaster. The steps to rounding off: step number 1, circle the digit that may change. So if you are rounding off to the nearest 10, you will circle the tens number. If you are rounding off to the nearest 100, you will circle the hundreds number. And if you are rounding off to the nearest 1,000, then you're going to circle the thousands number. Step 2, underline the digit on the right. So whichever number you have circled, whether it's the tens, the 100, or the thousands number, you're going to underline the digit on the right. Step 3, you're now going to round off the circled digit. So how you do that is you're going to sing the song. If the underlined digit is 5 or more, you're going to add 1 to the circled digit. And if the underlined digit is 4 or less, then the circled digit is going to stay the same. Step number 4, all the digits to the right of the circled digit are going to be changed to 0. And all the numbers to the left of your circled digit, if there are any, will stay the same. Okay, we're rounding off to the nearest 10. When rounding off to the nearest 10, which number is going to change? That's right, the tens number. So circle the tens number. Now look at the number on its right. You are supposed to underline that number. In this case, it's going to be the units column number. Now you can sing our rounding off song: 5 or more, let it soar; 4 or less, let it rest. Let's take a look at an example. 748. We're going to round it off to the nearest 10. So first step, circle the tens number, which is a 4. Underline the digit on the right, which is an 8. Sing the song: 5 or more, let it soar; 4 or less, let it rest. So you're going to look at the underlined digit, which is an 8. Is it 5 or more? Yes, the underlined digit is 8, which is 5 or more. So the tens number is going to increase by 1. It means we're rounding up. Okay, so add 1 to the tens column number. It becomes 5. So 4 plus 1 is 5. And everything to the right becomes 0. And everything to the left stays the same. So you round it off to the nearest 10 number is 750. Right, let's round off to the nearest 100. When rounding off to the nearest 100, which number is going to change? That's right, the hundreds number is going to change. So circle the hundreds number, then underline the digit on its right. In this case, it's going to be the tens column number. Now you sing the rounding off song: 5 or more, let it soar; 4 or less, let it rest. Let's take a look at an example. 509. We're rounding that number off to the nearest 100. So first step, circle the hundreds number, which is a 5. Underline the digit on the right, which is a 0. Now sing the song: 5 or more, let it soar; 4 or less, let it rest. We're looking at the underlined digit. Is 0 5 or more, or 4 or less? It's definitely 4 or less. Okay, so it means that we're going to be rounding down. Your hundreds number is going to stay the same. So your 5 stays the same. And everything to the right becomes 0. So 509 rounded off to the nearest 100 is 500. Okay, rounding off to the nearest 1,000. When rounding off to the nearest 1,000, which number is going to change? Obviously, the thousands number. So circle the thousands number, then underline the digit on the right. In this case, it's going to be the hundreds column number. Now sing the song, 5 or more, let it soar, 4 or less, let it rest. So let's do a quick example. Our example is 6,773. So first step, circle the thousands number because that's the one that's going to change. That's the 6. Underline the digit on the right, which is the 7. Now sing the song, 5 or more, let it soar, 4 or less, let it rest. The 7 is the underlined digit and it's more than 5, which means that you need to add, or you're going to round up, and you're going to do that by adding 1 to the thousands column number. So 6 plus 1 is 7, and everything to the right becomes 0. So your rounded off number is 7,000.